Hello and welcome to the Behind the Blockchain podcast. My guest today is Artem Bondarenko, CTO at D.Fi. Artem, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, Jack. Thank you for the invitation. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks. Really interesting to take part in your interview, in your podcast. Thanks.
Great stuff. Yeah, thanks for being here. So, Artem, for people who don't know who you are, could you introduce yourself, please?
Sure, sure. My name is Artem. So I started as a software engineer maybe more than 10 years ago. Yeah. So I've always been keen on the blockchain. Was always interested in that. And yeah, now as you mentioned before, I'm a CTO at D.Fi. I joined the team more than 2 years ago. Yeah, and now we are working on the really cool stuff in the blockchain sphere.
Great. Well, I'll probably ask you to go into D.Fi in a little bit more detail in a few minutes. But if you could take us back to the start of your career, can you talk us through your career journey so far?
Yeah, yeah. So I started as a software engineer, like software developer, like in 2030 or 12, I think. Yeah. Uh, After some time, I became a technical lead. I was a technical lead in different companies. Some of them were product companies. Some of them were like regular out stuff. So I was working on Web 2, Web 3, also AI stuff when it was not so popular, maybe in 2018, I think. Yeah, so I was able to to see this how this particular technology started to be popular. Yeah, I also regarding the blockchain, my first touch was in 2014, I think, when I started mining some of the coins. So it was really interesting and unusual at the time. But yeah, maybe in 2017, I realized that it would be really popular after some time. So yeah, I think I returned back to crypto in 2017, 18, and started from that time. I've been always interested in this stuff, even if I did not work in this area. At that time, I was working as a uh, like software engineer, technical lead on different like Web 2 projects and mobile also. But yeah, I was always interested in crypto. Yeah. And yeah, starting from maybe 2020 or 21, yeah, I started investigated more deeply the technical part. I think was the first thing that was interested to me is Solana blockchain, how the smart contracts work, and also EVM chains, Ethereum community, and all this stuff. Yeah, and in 2022, I joined the D.Fi team that I was really happy about. Yeah, and now we are working on this really cool stuff.
Sounds great. Sounds good. So when you when you were younger, did you always have an interest in technology and in software engineering? Like, was that always the path for you?
Yeah, yeah. I think even from my childhood, I felt that technology is my passion. Not only IT, but only some mechanical stuff. Also, some I don't know welding. Things related to automotive. Yeah. So I think I truly believe that people who are keen on technology, they like everything which is related to technology, right? They born like they was born as people who like everything which is that works with electricity, with some programming, all this stuff. Yeah, so it was like,
Definitely.
I think back on the day, even from my childhood. I think even at that time I realized that I would be really close to laptops and to the internet.
That sounds cool. So were you one of those people that used to take everything apart and then try and put it all back
Yeah,
together
yeah,
again to see
yeah.
how it worked?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. If you see a toy, right, you're always interested in what is inside and how it works.
Yeah, for sure. So you touched on it there that you first took an interest in Web3 and crypto back in 2014 from mining. Um, but why did you get drawn to it? Was there a particular thing that kind of sparked off an interest for you? Why Web3? Why blockchain?
Maybe because at the time it was something new, right? So it was not really clear for me how it works, right? Was something new, and at the time, I started believing that these potentially could be the would be the something cutting edges, like something really hyped, something really interesting, and something which is that might be the leading technology or something like that. Yeah, I think. But yeah, at the beginning, I would say we can that it's because there are a lot of questions there. Not clear questions, because what is people usually are driven by questions and interest.
Yeah, I agree. Do you remember what you were mining back then? Was it Bitcoin back in
Doge
2014?
Dogecoin, I think. Dogecoin.
Okay, nice. Early adopter of
Yeah, yeah,
Doge.
yeah. But as more most people did at the time, we just mining and selling, maybe buy some other coins. I don't know, still remember, but yeah, it was like not about it was not about money. It was about knowledge. It was about the community, and things that are not really that are really
Yeah,
interesting for you. Yeah.
definitely. So when you first started out in your career, did you always know that you wanted to be a CTO? Was that the
Uh,
end goal for you?
when I started, I'm not sure if I realized what CTO does, right? But I truly understood that I would work with people, right? That at that time I realized that uh, I wouldn't be just a regular developer, because I like working with people. I like communication. I like building the environment, the community. Uh, there are two types of people, right? Who like just sitting and solving some really interesting tasks, right? Coding and like deep brain work, right? And the second part, me, the people who like combining some tasks with communication with people, right? Because so I see my work, my life, only with only related to communication with people and technology, right? So it's like a balance.
Okay. And you mentioned there that when you started your career, you may not have even really known what a CTO
Yeah,
does at the time.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
so for people listening, people watching, could you talk us through a day in the life of the CTO at D.Fi? What does that look like?
Oh, uh, yeah, we have really interesting days. Yeah, I think mostly what we do, we are looking for the uh, best answers, best solutions for challenges, I would say. If you're talking about the technical part, if you're talking about non-technical part, it's about people, it's hiring people, it's also the keep things going on, the um, I like the term that the uh, CTO and also managers, they need to they need for some companies, for providing the stable environment, the stable technical environment, stable also mental environment of your team, right? And also for sure, we are looking for the next steps, right? So as a CTO, you should be aware that some technology or some solution that you suggested or somebody from the team suggested will be reliable enough and will be for long term, I would say. Yeah, like there are 4T in terms of CTO's work. It's like tools, technologies, team, and I forgot about the last one. Sorry. Yeah, so it's
I
like
like that.
it's about the combination of the technology and the team.
I like that. Do you tend to spend most of your time with the team these days, or do you still get to get stuck into the technology side as well?
Oh, it's really hard question because you can't avoid both sides, right? You have to have a balance between that. I like coding for sure, yeah, but I also like organizing this stuff. So I think the CTO should cover both sides, but only in this case when some other side doesn't block everything. So the first rule for CTO is just not to block other people. If you feel that you want to do some coding, right, to code some piece of application, you should be aware that it's not a blocker for others, right? Because usually you are involved in different calls and different also things related to planning, right, to discussion new features, discussing, I don't know, some technical challenges with the product team, with the decision makers. So yeah, sometimes you just write in the code and you realize that you need to jump on another call, and it can take hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. So it's really hard. But yeah, there are some patterns and rules that you should get and you should proceed with for sure.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So, could you introduce us to D.Fi in a little bit more detail, please?
Yeah, regarding D.Fi, so we are working on the huge platform for what I like to say is for people who are keen on crypto. Yeah, who has some investments on wallets, who do DeFi on regular stuff. Also, but also for people who just have some tokens on their wallet and they want to learn about DeFi, they learn about crypto more, right? Because we have different sub products in terms of DeFi, D.Fi. We have a portfolio tracker, we have a crypto antivirus, the thing that we are really proud of, because it's like a, I would say we are the first uh, crypto tool that covers a lot of analyzers. So what we do, we analyze different metrics. We analyze code of the smart contracts. We analyze the parameters. We also analyze the current situation on DEXs, for example, for some particular token, and we show this information to the people. Right. Also, we have AI attached to this process, because yeah, we have some type of score which is based on AI tools. Yeah, besides that, also we are working on our accelerator. So it's like a launch pad where other projects can proceed with ICO on our platform. Yeah. Also, what else? Yeah, we also have a really great team who is watching for some different racts on different blockchains, different scams, right? So we are always try uh, to to keep in touch with our community. So we have people who are tracking that, adding to our internal database, analyzes that, and also post this on the social media. Yeah.
Sounds great. Sounds like you guys are, yeah, filling a really big need there for people to really understand whether they're investing in scam projects or
Yeah. I
legit
think
projects, right?
I took part in multiple Twitter spaces with people from different projects, and we are all agreed on the fact that now there is a lack of security on the market. There are a lot of people who just jump in into some coins, into some narrative, right? But they don't understand, and they don't know where to look at, right? So this is the main priority, I think: the security, the education of the community, right? So people should know that it's not good, to to store some token, to save token on some hot wallets or on taxes, right? So I think the first narrative for crypto was do your own research, right? Maybe back on the day, but still it's also actual. But now there are a lot of things that it's really hard to track, and if you do your own research, you need to spend days, to be fully clear about something. But that's why we have this tool, right? So that it can show you everything in 1 second. Not a lot of information, at least.
That's cool. And is it super, super accurate?
I think yes, we have we. Mm, it's really hard to say super not super, but yeah, I think it's 100%. It's accurate enough, to for people who want to make a decision to buy or not to buy some token, because I mean, in terms, not in terms of price, yeah, for sure we track prices, but in terms of security, I would say we can we have like a set of different services that tracks, for example, liquidity, right? And if you want to buy something, you need to check liquidity first, I think, one of the initial markers, right? Or owners of the smart contracts, or deployers, what is the behind of these wallets, right? Something like that.
Sounds great. I'm going to check this out myself. So
Yeah, yeah, for
I've
sure, you need to do
definitely
this.
I will. In the past, I've definitely been guilty of just jumping straight in to
Ah.
tokens that I like the look of and stuff. Definitely. Um, Probably now I obviously do a lot more research, but I think when I first started, 3 years ago, um, yeah, I was probably just diving in to anything at the time without really doing much research around it.
Yeah.
So I can imagine, yeah, there'd be a lot of people in the same boat or similar boat if they're not well versed about the space and stuff. Um, so, what's it really like them building or working in a Web3 and blockchain startup? Obviously, from the outside, it could look quite glamorous, right? To work
Hmm.
in a new startup that's on the ground. I would imagine the reality, sometimes it probably is really good fun. Other times it's
Hmm.
probably really, really hard work. Like, what's the reality of when you're actually on the ground in an early stage startup?
uh in the reality is that the Web3 area is really flexible, on the other hand, but yeah, also things, they change really fast, right? So today, so everything can change in one day, right? And you have to be ready for that. So you have to be ready to react instantly, and also, um, you have to be ready to continuously educate yourself, right? Because every day we see new contracts, right? We see new patterns. For still, I don't know, once a week, our team, maybe not once a week, but maybe once a month, our team and the community as well also see different types of vulnerabilities, right? And the things will be worse, I think, even in the scope of security. So you need to be ready for that. You need to accommodate yourself for that. So this is, I think, the main difference between Web 2 and Web 3 world. So it's not so calm, I would say, compared with the others areas.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I was going to ask you if there's anything that you'd really like people to understand about the industry before becoming a part of it. Is it the security aspect of it and the fact that everything new is popping up all the time? Is there anything else that you think people should be aware of?
Yeah, I think security is not the easiest thing, so I wouldn't suggest to start with it. I think maybe basics, some, even one time, one hour video from YouTube would be helpful, just to understand basic of the security. But what I would like to suggest to start with is that maybe the basics of the blockchains, how the liquidity works, right? What is the difference between DAXs, taxes, right? And then dive deeper and deeper, right? Then maybe some also it makes sense to start with the consensus mechanisms, different consensus mechanism, right? This is about the hard skills. Regarding the soft skills, I also would suggest people to to be open to communications, to be open to new communities, right? Because if you don't have enough information about some project, you can what people usually do in crypto, they go to Discord, for example, and write just questions, and you should not be afraid of the challenges like this. So you have to be open for communication.
I like that. I think that's definitely one of the ways that Web3 differs a lot to Web2, is that there are such open communities for every project.
Yeah.
If you want to go and find out a load of information about the project, about technologies, about the team, about the problem that's being solved, um, there's some really helpful communities out there that can support that,
Yeah, for sure. Also,
which
there are
is
a lot of
which is great.
conferences. Yeah, even like blockchain weeks, right? So there are a lot of spaces for communication. A lot of communities.
Definitely. Does it make it harder to build as an engineer and as a CTO? Does it make it harder to build when you've got the community there? Is that like, do you feel more pressure because there's the community looking at like everything that you do and that you're building as a team?
Uh, yeah, I think at that level, it's more not a pressure. I think it's more a pressure of responsibility for your side,
Okay.
from inside, because you understand that now the price of failure is much higher, right? So yeah, for sure, that's I think every manager, from even from Web 2, from Web 3, especially when he become a CTO, should be ready and understand the price for every failure. So it's like a professional skill, I would say. Even at some point, when your site, when your project, where your community reaches some number of participants, number of users, right, number of teammates, right, you have some sort of responsibility for that. So it's like, yeah, I think yeah, for sure it's a pressure, but it's like a guilty pressure.
Okay. No, I like that. I like that. So again, I think that's something that people probably need to be aware of before they get into the space as well, is to really understand that there is the community there, and
Hmm.
sometimes there are some really good and really helpful communities, and there are some communities that do end up putting quite a lot of pressure on the teams if they haven't seen updates for a couple of weeks or whatever it might be. Everyone's looking for, or a lot of the community or parts of the community will be looking for, when's the token price going to increase and this kind of stuff, right? So it's, yeah, I guess a bit of added pressure there. If you're not used to it and you're coming into the space, you've been in for a while, so you kind of understand it, I guess. Um, Someone new to the space, it's probably worth getting your head around the community aspects of it and like how it works and this kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So the community, usually community helps you to get more information. So yeah, that's why you have to be open to new information for sure. Even so, one of the main criteria uh, that we look at during the hiring process, for example, to inside of the team, right? So we will look, we just check if the developer, if the, I don't know, any team member is open uh, to learn something new, right? To self educate, like to if it's if this person is reliable enough in scope of some responsibilities, right?
Yeah, I like that. So making sure that everyone's got that growth mindset to be able to always learn new things.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
So are there any other attributes other than a growth mindset? Any other attributes that you think make that allow people to build a successful career in Web3?
Oh, I think what I think which is what is really important is not to be in rush, right? When at first look, you can say that everything changes really fast, and you need to make decisions really fast. But no, I think in long term, you shouldn't be in rush with learning, with making decisions, right? Because it's really deep area, right? There is no like I don't know some books. There are some books for sure, yeah, but there are so many things, different things there. So you have to be able to catch some information from different sources, part of informations. Yeah. By the way, our team also has written a book about DeFi, so I think it can be found
Okay.
on the site. So yeah, about the basics of DeFi and how the liquidity works and all this stuff. Yeah. Uh, what else? Yeah, and hard skills. I think we are talking about soft skills, self-management, all the stuff, but we we shouldn't forget about hard skills. Coding. Yeah, if we're talking about developers, engineers, so they have to use their imagination combining with coding, because yeah, how to be successful in crypto as a project, right? You have to have an idea, something new, ideally, right? Something new, or maybe already exist idea, but with some extra features that came from your imagination or imagination of the team members, right? And on the other hand, you have to have resources, or you have to know how to make it done. So regarding resources, I think for now, if you're talking about, I don't know, if we return back to 5 years ago, that was not so much. There were not so much, I think, sources, not so much, I don't know, courses. How, for example, about Solidity, about Rust. Yeah, it was there are, especially in crypto area, right? But now I think it's really easy to find a lot of courses, books, YouTube. You don't even need to pay for that. You just open YouTube and type Solidity coding or something like that. So there are a lot of free courses as well. So yeah, I think this is also really important to to work on your hard skills.
For sure. And just on the hard skills side of things, if someone is stepping into Web3 for the first time,
Mhm.
they're a software engineer, they're stepping into Web3 for the first time, do you think that someone should try to pick an ecosystem and really develop their skills within that area? For example, stay within the Ethereum or the EVM space and go really in on Solidity, for example, or go
Mhm.
down Solana or Polkadot route or whatever it might be. Obviously, depending on their interests and things like this. But do you think you can pick an ecosystem and go really deep in that? Or do you think you can be quite broad and look at Solidity, Rust, and just kind of learn everything you possibly can? What do you
Uh,
think
I
is the
think
best?
I think people should start with broad vision. So what they need to do, I think, they just need to prepare a list. They can prepare a list and look at the different projects without any relation to the stack, right? Because some people like NFTs, right? Like this idea, and then they should look at the projects that are mostly involved in NFT stuff, in NFT project creations. For example, NFT are really really popular on Solana, right? If you're talking about DeFi, right? So there are a lot of tons of projects, mostly on EVM, right? I think I truly believe that people are driven by by ideas, by passion, and it's really hard to block yourself, to restrict yourself only by the technology, but not by your, I don't know, your ideas. Well, something that you like. For example, you like racing, right? And you spotted some game, I don't know, Web3 game about racing, or I don't know, maybe some NFT collection about that. So, and you once you find something interesting for you, then you can just develop something on top of that, right? So I would suggest to start to not to stick to some technology, but stick to something that's interesting for you, and then maybe you can align, something based on the skills. But if you are experienced enough in development, I think it should not be a problem to jump between EVM or non-EVM chains like Rust, Solidity, because if you are in it, it's not a big deal for you uh, to learn a new language. Concepts in more the basic concepts of blockchains are more or less uh, the same, like in general. But yeah, there are some aspects of consensus mechanism. But yeah, also it's all about self-education. But yeah, general idea is just to not to stick to technologies, but looking towards your ideas and something that you like.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're definitely right on that. I couldn't agree more. I was speaking with Anthony Rose on the podcast a few months back. So he's the VP of technology at Matter Labs.
Hmm.
Obviously makes EK Sync. When he was first getting into the Web3 space, that's exactly what he did. He thought, right, what problem do I really want to have a go at solving? What problem do I love? And he thought, zero knowledge tech is where I want to be. And then
Hmm.
that's how we ended up landing the job at Matter Labs by saying, look, I'm so passionate about this idea, about this technology. I really want to solve it. And then, yeah, then they gave him a shot to join the team. So yeah, I couldn't agree
Nice.
more that finding what you're really interested in is definitely key.
Yeah.
Because I think
Yeah.
founders and people hiring can see that, right? And I'm sure you, as a person who is hiring, if you had someone who came to the interview who's super enthusiastic about the problems that you're solving, you're probably much more likely to hire the person thinking, actually, if they're this enthusiastic about it, they can probably learn the harder stuff. If they've got transferable skills, they can pick up a new language or they can pick up
Yeah.
something
Absolutely.
else, as
Yeah.
long as they've got the passion for it. So yeah, I couldn't agree more. So do you or is there any attributes that you think make a really successful CTO in Web3?
Hmm. In terms of attributes, uh, books, books, new podcasts, any sources of knowledge. Also, if you're talking uh, about the character of some particular person, right? This is it's all about listening to people. Yeah, if you want to be a successful manager, not only CTO but any manager, you have to be listen to people from your team, and also to hire and to invite uh, uh, reliable people into your team, right? So only those people who you who you trust, right? uh, not only for sure, but yeah, I think this is the goal of a good manager, to be fully, to trust the team, and not do any micromanagement. No, or it doesn't make sense if you hire somebody as a developer, then you spend half of the day coding by yourself. Yeah, because it's a team. I really like the concept that every team should have its own culture, right? And the type of the culture that I really like, it's like a baseball team, right, where the people are on their places, right? So this guy is responsible, for the infrastructure. So yeah, you're a good guy. If you need any help from my side, just ping me. We already aligned about some details, but yeah, I really know that you are educated enough. You know really well this area. So yeah, I believe you. I trust you. Yeah. So this is the one of the uh, top failures of managers, of different managers, is to afraid of uh, smarter people in the team, right? So you can hire somebody as a technical lead. You can hire a developer who is who can be much smarter than you. But some people see like a problem in that. But in my opinion, it's not a problem, it's a benefit. Yeah, so having smart people, even smarter than you in the team, it's a really good benefit, because yeah, this is the team. You have to think not as a not only as a like a single developer or single you. It's like a entity. The team is an entity, and it's really good benefit for you, and it's really good achievement for you that if you found somebody really smart and smarter than you. And this is, I think, the main metric.
Definitely. I think sometimes people's I guess the only thing that would stop you from hiring that type of person is if your own ego gets in the way, right? You're kind of worried that that person is better than you and might show you up.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you kind of
yeah.
have to let go of all that, and think, you know what, if that person was wants to be in a CTO position, then eventually they'll probably get to that role, but they might not want to do the management and the day-to-day running of the team stuff. They might just be super super good at coding and wanting to stay uh, super super technical forever, right? Everyone's got their own path. So I think, yeah, being able to put the ego aside to hire amazing people into the team is definitely a skill.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
were there any? This might be quite a difficult question to answer, but were there any challenges that surprised you when you stepped into engineering leadership or being a CTO?
Interesting. I think to find enough time. It's not.
Okay,
It wasn't a surprise, but yeah, I think not. There is always not enough time. Mm, what else? And also there was a challenge that it's not really easy to find a good like profession people, right? So people who are really good engineer and and maybe a lead. It's not so easy to find people like this. Um, what else we can say that no, I would say every new day in crypto can be a surprise. So it's also yeah. I think in general in crypto, for not even for managers, but also for developers, for any people who in here who are here, so that everything changes really fast. You know, it's really hard to predict something, right? You can predict some narratives, you can predict some maybe future long term, right? But you have to the challenge is to to match your beliefs, change your to match your commitments in terms of some product with future uncertainty, right? So then you have to be really believer. Yeah, this is, I think, the main challenge that we just came up with. um, mm, uh, the believing in something in crypto is really important, right? So it's not it doesn't work. So crypto is not for people who are looking for some, I don't know, some part-time, not like part-time involvement, or not for not only for money. It's for it's about beliefs, about your passion, uh yeah, and about something that you are really interested in.
for sure, and it will consume your life as well uh, over time.
Yeah,
It's all you end up
yeah,
reading about, listening to, watching, speaking
for sure.
about. It
Yeah,
consumes you, really, doesn't it?
you have to give back, give something back in exchange of this time that you spent on with crypto, right?
Definitely. So could you share some advice for people who are maybe stepping into leadership for the first
Hmm.
time?
Yeah, so I think if you're talking about the leadership, um, I would suggest people to be open to new ideas, to be open to other people, and to be flexible enough. If you're talking about in general, right? Because flexibility is really important, and listening to people also other ideas, because you can you can have different people in your team who have different ideas, different thoughts about some project, some solution, right? So you have to be able to listen and not to be toxic or and avoid dictatorship. Maybe.
Okay. And obviously, a big part of being a leader is, I guess, to remove blockers for the team to be able to succeed and to be able to hit their own goals and to be able to deliver, their work to a level that they really want. Do you have any advice
Yeah.
on how you can help teams succeed or help people in your teams hit their own goals, whether it be career aspirations or whatever it might be? Do you have any tips on how you help your team members do that?
Yeah, so always help them. The one of the tips is just is the rule that you need to help your people, not to restrict them, not to block, right? Um, Also be really careful if you're talking about some teams and running, for example, development process in teams, right? You have to be really careful about the security, about some details, because there are a lot of hacks right now. There are a lot of keys compromised. So on one hand, you have to help people, not to block them, but on the other hand, you have to be really careful and cautious, and you should track these details that sometimes they're not important. They look like not really important things, but in general, security and as a result, you have to be sure that your teammates, your team is educated enough about even some basic stuff, right? About blockchain, about the security in the blockchain, because this is your core, right? And core of your team should be safe enough. Yeah. So the goal of the CTO is to help to make themselves safe and satisfied. This is the good part, and the uh, not like a not a bad, but like it's a big different part is to track uh, the way how your project is going on in the technical side, right? So you have to be sure that that what you're working on right now will be working in 1 year, in 5 years, in one day, for example. Also, mm,
For sure. No, that sounds good. It's good advice. And knowing what you know now,
mhm.
throughout your whole career, you've obviously learned a lot, whether it be harder skills, softer skills, leadership. If you could go back to the start of your career and give your younger self a piece of advice, what would you say?
Oh, what would I say? It's really, really tough question. Yeah, I think one of my friends asked me something like this, but give me three words that you would write for yourself. I don't know, for 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Watch for Bitcoin, right? Yeah, it's a joke. I think, yeah, I would. What I would suggest, maybe to start reading, watching videos earlier, something like that. Because start educate yourself early. Because when you know something, right? When you start working on something, you realize, whoa, it would be much better if I had started reading about that, I don't know, 5 years ago, right? Or I don't know, 2 years ago, right? So I think it's applicable for most people, like that we are always think that reading or knowing about something much earlier would be really a great benefit, right? So I think something like that. I see a lot of smart people in crypto who just who are still in the university, studying the university. So they who are 20, 21 years old, right? So, and they really, they're good guys. They know a lot in their young years. So I think this is the good example, especially for those who are entering in the space not in 20s, right? It's not a problem. I think there are a lot of examples, not in only in crypto but in big tech, right? When people after 40s, they become a CTO, they became like founders of some. They started a company, successful company. But yeah, I think as earlier you start educate yourself, reading, watching podcasts, sorry, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos. So yeah, as much beneficial for you.
I like that. Really good advice. So, Artem, you've shared some great tips and some great insight over the last 45 minutes. To finish up, what advice could you give to people who are looking to follow in your footsteps? You know, a CTO role within a cool Web3 blockchain startup is the career aspiration of a lot of people. You know, they look at CTO and think, I'd love to be
Hmm.
there. Do you have any advice for someone, if you could summarize everything that you've shared today? Any advice if someone's looking to follow in your footsteps and reach that point in their career?
Uh, I think you just create a plan, make a plan like for 2, 5, 10 years, right? Just make it like a list of bullet points, what you need to reach, what technology you need to know, to learn, right? What I don't know, how many hours or days in week you need to spend, to reach this sub goal, right? This item, for example, to learn Rust, right? To be a developer on Rust. What how many hours, how many days? Yeah. And then just go step by step, and uh, it's really important not to forget about hard and soft skills, because it's really the skill to balance. It's also a skill, right? So to know how to balance between hard work, like coding, and making a self-representation, making some propositions, like making presentations, right? It's also a skill and really hard to balance. So to make a plan based on your goals, right? And also, if your final goal is to be a CTO, you have to understand what kind of CTO, because mm, it depends on the details. For example, if you want to be CTO in a small startup, or you want to be CTO in Google, right? So there are totally different, not skills, but yeah, also skills as well. I think responsibilities, right? In this, if you're talking about small startup, you need to code to code a lot, right? So you need to write code every day, and the CTO in the startup, it's mostly really hard skilled engineer. But if you're talking about the big enterprise company, like companies that are more than 1K people, it's about self representation. CTO in companies like this, they don't write code at all. So what they do, they just go between conferences and explain why they are cool, why the companies are cool, right? So yeah, it depends on the goals. Let's create bullet points. Make a plan. Uh, make the final goal as much more clear than as possible, right? And stick to this plan.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Well, Artem, thank you very much for taking the time to have a conversation today.
Thank you to Jen as
Yeah,
well.
I've learned a lot. I'm looking forward to listening back to this and making a few notes. and
Yeah,
yeah, putting some advice into practice. So yeah, thank you very much for sharing.
yeah. Thank you,
If
Jack.
anyone's listening to this and they would like to reach out to you if they have any extra questions, or say if they're really passionate about the problems that you guys are solving at D.Fi, if anyone wants to reach out, are you active on Twitter or LinkedIn or
Yeah,
Farcaster now? You on there at all?
yeah. It's really easy to find us. So D.Fi. You can just type it in the browser, or also just type D.Fi in Twitter, and you will find my account or the account of our company. And feel free to reach us out.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Well, Artem, thanks again. I'll speak to you
Thank you,
soon.
Jack. See you. Bye bye.
Take care.